watch this after the fact that it's streamed, because this time it's going to be a different kind of stream. What I'm going to be doing, instead of just playing something and just generally reacting to it, what I've done is I've played this game pretty, I want to say, pretty extensively as far as the prologue is concerned, and I don't know, I felt like drawing attention to this game, at least on my channel alone. So what I'm going to be doing is, just for demonstration's sake, we'll do normal. So what I want to do is kind of highlight this game, and what I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to be kind of commentating on the kind of things that I've noticed about this game, what I like about it, and how the mechanics work. Because if anything, this game is a diamond in the rough, and I dig it, 100%.
Could you stand a little taller, just a tad?
Like this?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The chin a tiny bit lower.
So what happens is, it starts out, you are just a normal person who goes by a very specific name, Desarde, or Desardet if you want to speak it harshly, like a troglodyte. Neither here nor there. Either way, you get to pick if you are a man or a woman for the entire game. The significance of this is, it's kind of harkens back to the Mass Effect way of kind of starting your game out. You're playing a character who is known by one kind of moniker. In this case, Desarde, Mass Effect's case, you are known as Shepard, or Commander Shepard once your character got promoted. A lot of games nowadays are going to be doing that same kind of idea, like Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be doing that with your character's name. They're going to be V, with the nickname Samurai, if I'm not mistaken. So the significance of that is, it kind of goes back to the whole old school, not old school, but I want to say the newer old school, because you can pick your gender and your character's backstory and everything is essentially unaffected. So another thing that people kind of don't really, or at least not that I've seen, focus on is this strange, like, disease-looking birthmark of a thing. That is a staple of your character also. So with that, no matter what kind of ethnicity, skin color, it's still going to be there. So that's going to be something that is part of your character, and it's something that lets people identify them as the game progresses. So for this game, I guess what I can do is, what we'll do is I'll get this guy because he looks nice and harmless, and I kind of want him to play opposite of that, because the two characters that I played thus far have been both a warrior and a wizard. This guy's going to be the third class, so then that way I can kind of tell you guys what the game has differently combat-wise with the other two classes in comparison to this one, and I can learn how this whole class works along the way and kind of break that down. So the customization it's nothing huge, but unlike most games, it actually gives you an option. These guys, if I'm not mistaken, they also did a game called Technomancer. So what happened was, I played a little bit of Technomancer, wasn't really my thing, couldn't really get into it, but that's neither here nor there. So these guys do have the backbone and the know-how to be able to do games like these. It just wasn't fully realized in Technomancer, and in this one it feels a little bit better. So I'll just create just a normal looking guy, because I don't actually plan on having his face on display for too long, because there is a hat you can get after the prologue that kind of obscures everything, and I plan on using that one. So with all this, you get to pick your eye color. There is preset faces, which is okay, it's not really a big deal, but if you like customization at all, this is a very big plus. Another thing we're looking at is, these are the three classes. So this character will be technical, but there is a warrior class and a magic class. Now the thing that's kind of fun about this is the warrior, that's straightforward. You run around using melee, you could use a pistol. Your whole character traits are do damage, tank damage, and that's the long and short of it. The magic one is a little bit different, at least from the little I played. So the magic user doesn't actually use melee weapons unless you actually give them to them. By default, they start out with magic rings. So instead of fighting with a weapon, you are using a ring to cast spells. You have your normal projectiles, and then you also have kind of like a magic charged punch. That's like your heavy. Maybe I'll go more depth into that one, but as it stands, that's the main notable difference. They are also noticeably more squishy than the warrior, but that kind of goes with the whole warrior versus mage kind of thing. At a distance, a mage is going to be with a lot more advantages, and they're not really meant to run in and pummel your enemy. So they're definitely going to be squishier, because the warrior that I play, he is hard to kill, and I have tons of health potions. So if I do take damage, I heal it right back up, versus the magic one, who pretty much 3 hits and they were pretty much downed, which is not something I think would happen to the technical, but it is a possibility because they are also not tanky characters. So with these guys, they kind of focus around using like one-handed melee weapons, guns. Their whole deal is to be precise and to be fast. They also have the recommended talents of science and lockpicking, so lockpicking is pretty straightforward. There will be chests in the game. Some of them will not have keys to open them. If you have lockpicking skill, you can actually open these chests. And I'm assuming farther into the game, the chests will become harder to pick, and you can kind of keep speccing your lockpicking so that eventually no box can say, you can't open me. You will be able to open every single box that you come across. So, what we'll do is we'll go with technical, because that's who I want this character to be. I want him to strike fast, strike hard, and then get the hell out of the way before he can take any damage. Or at least that's the plan. Now, it has attributes on top of the class system. So, you have the option of strength, which helps you do better with blunt type weapons and two-handed. So anything that is meant to smash, that's going to do a little buff to it. Straightforward, nothing special. Endurance, that one is the strength equivalent, but your health. So instead of doing more damage, you can tank some more. Accuracy, your damage with your firearms will be more impactful, because I guess the way this works is you're hitting the weak spots as opposed to just shooting them willy-nilly. Now, willpower is another magic skill. That one increases your MP and your spell duration. So, you also have a pretty good range of spells when you're a wizard? So let's take the stasis spell, for example. That's a spell that quite literally you cast on a person, and they're trapped in time and space for whatever given amount of time you have. The more willpower your character has, you will add a second to whatever time you already have for that spell. So I'm imagining a high-powered wizard class. If they are being overwhelmed, they could do something like cast stasis on, let's say, a few enemies, and then just pick off the other half of them. And then when the other ones come out of stasis, then they're finally ready for them, and that could prevent you from getting mobbed. Mental power. That is another one that also goes with the wizard. That one actually is the strength equivalent for magic. So your spells are going to do more damage, because your mental power is essentially your character's focus. They're focusing on the spell to do damage, and that's the way that works. Here is agility. So this is probably the one we're going to go for this character. So it increases fury generation and all damage inflicted in melee combat. The thing about agility is it's not explicitly for technical. The agility helps you in melee combat. So if you're already a strong character and a healthy character, you could use this to further enhance your melee prowess. It also gives you something called Fury, and once you have gotten enough hits on an enemy, or they have hit you and given you about half as much Fury, you get a big haymaker of an attack. So if you're more agile, you're more inclined to get that Fury faster so you can load out more haymaker type attacks. So we're going to go with that one for this character. Alright, that's where we're going to start. And then now's another one. So, we've had skills, attributes, and now talents. The thing with talents is they're not so much combat as they are out of combat skills. So what this game has done is they've essentially picked how you're going to fight, what stats you're going to enhance for your fights, and what stats you're going to have outside of a fight. So my strength character, to make him not a big dumb oaf, I gave him charisma. So not only is he good in a fight, but if he can talk people down from a fight, that's his deal. He can negotiate. That's the kind of character I wanted my first character to be. So aside from just being able to talk really good at people, you have science. The thing with science is it lets you build potions. The significance of that is a lot of the potions kind of moonlight as bombs. So, like it says in this little description here, it allows you to make simple potions, and it allows you to destroy weak walls with the help of explosive files. So it's essentially you make a bomb out of chemicals, you throw it at a wall, blows that stuff up, you can completely ignore a locked door and just power right through it, Kool-Aid Man style. I don't think that's what I want for this character, but I will give it to him eventually, probably at level 5. Whether or not that's going to be on this gameplay and commentary stream, that's neither here nor there. Lockpicking, which is the one I'm probably going to give to this character, if not intuition. Let's see here. Actually, vigor might be the one I might give to this character. So, lockpicking, long story short, is self-explanatory. You find locks, you can pick them. You can see traps, although those haven't been anything that show up in the prologue, so I'm interested to see how that will hinder me, since I haven't gotten any lockpicking for my other characters. So that'll be fun to watch. And then intuition means you can see a bunch of things that aren't immediately known to you. So you can kind of find like little secrets and little things that might be able to help you out. If there's a mission that tells you you have to go get something, this one will make it easier to spot it, so you're not looking at a bunch of shiny pillars like, oh, is this the one I want? Oh, is this the one I want? It'll change the color of the pillars, if I'm not mistaken, so then that way you know, okay, that's an important item. I should probably go grab that. Now, craftsmanship is also kind of straightforward, but it also kind of isn't. Like that meme, yes, but well, no. You can craft things as well as your weapon and armor, and by proxy you can essentially upgrade them going from there because you're a craftsman. With this skill, you can also, if the mission has the option for you to fix something or to create something, this is the skill that you're going to want, because say for example early on there's something that had to do with a bar fight. The bartender is upset and he won't give you any information unless you either pay him for the broken furniture or fix his furniture. With this and the necessary materials, you could fix his furniture and you don't have to spend a dime, assuming you already have the materials you need. And that's one way that you can save money. You craft stuff, you don't have to buy it. And then vigor is... this one's a little weirder to explain, but it's kind of your character's, I want to say, confidence in their ability. So there are areas that have planks that you can't cross unless you have a certain amount of vigor. If you try to cross them, he'll say, oh, I'm going to need some practice with that, blah, blah, blah. So vigor kind of makes it so you're like, oh, I could cross that. I'm balanced. I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not a goddamn scrub. Hardcore parkour. And you could get past those areas without any issue. It's in a way like a athleticism. So the vigor doesn't really match with what it's trying to convey, but it is accurate for what this game considers vigor to be. So for this character, I'm on the fence for lockpicking because I can get more loots, or vigor because I can have more options to beat a quest without having to be confrontational. So what I'll do for now is I'll do vigor, because the less combat this character can be in, the better, because he is a technical. He is not meant to be on the front lines smacking people into paste. He is a smart, calculated, shooting people in the back if he has the option, son of a bitch. I'm also planning on playing this character as a very, I don't want to say selfish, but he is very interested in self-preservation. So if he's going to lie, cheat, and steal to keep himself going, he will.
Such an incredibly singular face.
Thank
That's
you.
a compliment, my lord, out of my mouth.
So one thing
Your
people
particularity
have
gives
noticed about this game is the
You're
graphics
still
are
here?
a little
We've nearly finished.
meh. The thing about it
Have
is
you
they are
anyone needed
using
me?
a
You haven't forgotten
engine
we're
that they are
setting sail
familiar
today,
with.
have you?
If I'm not
Of course
mistaken, it's
not.
the same one that they had in Technomancer. Now, Technomancer
Your
wasn't
cousin is nowhere
anything
to be
pretty
found.
to look
I've
at,
searched the palace
but
from cellars to
since then it
attics.
looks like
Your
they've
uncle has
mastered
beside himself.
how to
He
make
was of a mind to
everything
be in
work.
the town last
So
night.
the
Don't worry, I shall
lighting,
track him down.
the
Make care to your own
particles,
preparations
the
without wrinkling another
backgrounds,
frown.
textures, and all that may
It's
not be
about
that
time your
sharp,
cousin
but
took
they
account of the
convey what
responsibilities
they're trying to
awaiting him.
convey. So
He
they're
should go
using
and inform
something
the
that they're
ambassadors
familiar
of
with
Telemi and the Bridge Alliance of his departure.
and kind of pushing
No
it
fear,
to
master, I will go and see
their
them.
expertise. So this is something, okay, we know how to use it, let's
Beg your
make it
pardon, but
sing,
urgent
essentially.
matters call me away. Might we finish all this later?
So this isn't the Unreal Engine,
You are
this
leaving with
isn't
time,
the,
if what I've been told is correct.
this isn't
I
using the
am
Havoc
sorry, sir, truly, I
engine,
must be going.
we're not looking at the
My lord,
Cry
please, I
engine, this
beg
is like
you.
their
Her
own,
Highness personally
this is like their own thing that they're playing
Thank
with.
you, cousin, for getting me out of that.
Alrighty, so now we're in the game. One thing I've noticed that a lot of people probably notice as well is the characters that walk around are quite literally just doing that, just walking around. So this woman over here, who's dressed kind of like a Navy pirate, what her AI does is essentially just walks around. What it does is that kind of breathes life into the game, but don't expect to follow someone around and see them do anything fun other than walk around and interact with the few things that are on their path. So she walks over to the door, knocks on it, and she's going to continue doing the same exact thing. This noble, she's around on the same path. She also knocks on the door. So you're not going to see anything super advanced. You're not going to see huge amounts of life out of the NPCs, like, for example, games like Watch Dogs, or shoot, even some games that have very minimal life in them, like Persona 5. Because while that game's style allows for the characters to walk around and essentially do literally nothing, there's more of them, so it feels like there's more population. Versus these guys who just kind of walk around aimlessly, like they forgot what they were doing, or the girl that they were going to ask to prom rejected them, so they're walking around trying to play it off like they're looking cool, like, yeah, I don't want to go prom anyways, prom is stupid. Meh.
Hey! Green blood!
Here we are.
And so the day has finally come. My royal fledglings are leaving the nest.
This is Kerr.
Accompanied by their most loyal and tenacious master of arms.
As loyal as your gold.
Oh, enough with the cold mercenary. I know you like us. Still hiding your men in the unsuspecting shadows of the greats of this world, I see.
Hey, our blades are the only thing keeping you dainties alive.
Kurt, I'm not in need of your protection. I'm no longer a child, you know.
Is that so? Well, let's see. Fight with honor!
So, this game did a very pathetic attempt at making it seem like you and Kurt have a backstory and are friends. In a way, it made it seem like you guys have some kind of beef. This isn't the case. You and Kurt are allies, and he becomes your first companion, essentially. I didn't hit you that much, come on. So in combat, you have two options. You can dodge, parry, light attack, and heavy attack. So that's part of the tutorial. If you get hit, it's like open tactical pause. This tactical pause is a strange feature, to say the least, but it kind of makes sense once you figure out what the hell they're trying to tell you. So, you can essentially pause and change the items that you have in your hotbar. And what that means is, firearms, this one, I'm going to bind it to the right. So if I hit right on D-pad, I pull out a gun and I shoot him in the face. Health potion, I'm going to bind that to up on the D-pad. So, if I take too much damage, I want to move away, hit up on the D-pad, and then I will heal that damage. So he's going to come at me again. Or he won't, because he wants me to heal. So, up on the D-pad, and I've been healed. So now this is the only BS part about this, is the game wants you to fight Kurt, but he absolutely smacks your cheeks. See, if you get hit 3 times, the game essentially says, okay, you suck, here's your tutorial. Okay, that didn't fucking help me. So with this character, melee isn't his specialty, so what I'm going to do is pop him in the mouth. So what this does, and the advantage that this gives me, is it eats through his armor. Most characters have armor, especially the ones that wear plate mail, like Kurt here.
You defend yourself well, Greenblood. One might think you had a proper master of arms.
The best.
There we
You
go.
already training for your new post of legate? Don't tire yourself. Flattery'll get you nowhere. But for the fight, you have remembered your basics. Your performance just got you out of a final lesson.
Just like that.
Unless you want to go through the paces again before we depart.
Absolutely not, Kurt. So if you manage to smack his cheeks without him getting 3 hits on you in a row to down you, you are forced... Oh, no. If you are downed, you are forced into a tutorial. If you manage to show that you can grasp the combat enough to beat this guy, his 4 armors, and his health, or at least his health enough, then you have the option of skipping the tutorial. So naturally, I'm going to skip this damn tutorial because it teaches me how to fight. I already know how to fight.
And here you are already.
Well, your first time, you're probably going to get your cheeks slapped by Kurt anyways.
Always too busy.
If you manage to beat him, you want to do the tutorial anyways because that one goes more in depth with the combat. It tells you about the rage system, and it tells you more about the hotbars, tells you how to lock on, how to switch targets. It's easy, but it makes it very, very clear for you. Alright, so this guy's going to be a dickhead, so
I
he's
have
going
to
to complain.
admit, I thought my days as a child, complete with bodyguard, were behind me.
I do like being wanted. It would seem that the prince didn't feel you were apt to take care of yourselves alone. And so it goes. By the way, where is our future governor hiding?
In the toilet.
I was hoping to put his skills to the test as well.
I have no idea. He had plans to celebrate his departure last night, and we haven't seen him since. You know Constantine. I should have gone with him, but my heart wasn't in the mood for celebration. The thought of bidding my mother farewell.
It is never easy to say goodbye. But you should be going to see her now. She must be waiting for you. I'll meet you in front of the palace. Then we'll go and find Constantine together.
Very well.
Yep.
I'll meet you as soon as I've said my goodbyes.
Alrighty. Once more into the fray. So, if anything, the controls to this game are pretty basic, pretty straightforward. The story at the
Have you
start.
not been taught to knock?
It's nothing
I've asked 1,000
fun,
times. Oh, it's you,
but it's serviceable.
my dear child.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble getting used to your condition.
Come now, let's speak of more pleasant things. I'm so very happy to hear your voice.
Okay. So unless you are
You remind
completely
me so
interested in
much
the
of your
plot,
father.
what I'm going to
I
do
do miss him
is
so.
I'm going to talk about this
Today is the
plague
big
that
day,
essentially
isn't it?
exists in this game.
Ready to
So
set sail
what
for
it
home.
is it's an
I and everyone's
uncurable
talking about.
essential
Just
version
the
of
idea leaving you behind,
like
alone
Black
and
Death,
Dying, my child.
which my first guess was
Alas,
that
there
growth
is
on my
nothing we
neck
can do by staying
or that
would ease my
mark
suffering.
is the disease
One
kind of
thing
getting
brings
me.
here. They say the
So he
island
kind of
is
wants
full
to
of
try to
miracles, and we
cure
might
it.
find a cure.
It seems like that's not
Even
the
if I were to
case, but
find
I'm
it, I
not
would
that
never
far
be
in
able
the
to
story
return in
to
time
be able
to-
I
to
know.
acknowledge that thing. That's just a part of your character
But
until
it
I figure out
brings
what the hell
me
it's about.
comfort that to know my son has
I'm assuming it tells you
mission
after the prologue,
to
but if
heal
anything,
his people.
I'm only going to be streaming the prologue to kind of highlight the
Come
things
now.
that I like and don't like
It's
about the
time for you to
game,
take leave.
and
Here,
kind of show off that it is a
take this with
true
you.
passion project by these guys.
What is it?
Because it's been getting a lot of praise,
A family heirloom.
except for
Something that
from social justice
Take it
warriors who
and
don't play
keep it
games
with you.
anyways, so that is
may bring
not
you
an
good
issue
luck.
at all. People who don't play games trying to talk about games
blessings
is
go with you.
stupid, and listening to them is stupid.
Now,
So
Yeah.
as someone who plays games, I'm not going to say my opinion is more valid, because opinions are never valid, but I know what the hell I'm talking about. The story in this game is, it's serviceable. For what you need, it gives you everything. You have a reason to do it, your character has motivations, although flimsy, you have motivations. It doesn't just throw you in like, alright, go play, loser. You actually kind of want to see this through. So now I have to talk to Kurt, because that starts
Kurt?
off the prologue.
It's done.
Sorry, Greenblood. Look, we can see the masts of the ship that'll be taking us. This is one sacred adventure we're embarking on.
I hope this island will keep its promises.
In order to know that, we'll need to find Constantine first.
You're right. Maybe he's already at the port. He was so eager to leave.
This
So
will
one of
be
the
quite
few
the
things I
chore
don't
to
like
finish
about it
before our
is the
departure.
lip syncing
The commander
is
wants to recover some
mediocre.
merchandise from our
It
supply.
looks like the characters are just going,
Transporter doesn't want to deliver.
that's just the best it
I
says,
did all I could to persuade.
and
Nothing
words
came
are
of
coming
it.
out.
All the parliamenting fatigues me. But this is your
So while
domain.
that's something I don't like about
I
it,
wouldn't say
one
no
thing I
to
do
all
like,
help.
Of course.
that I probably
the
shouldn't,
supply?
and I just think
In
it's
the
funny,
lower boroughs, near the
is
port.
you
Right.
can talk to
We'll
people,
put it on our list of visits.
and it sets you in this little cinematic. There are NPCs walking around in the background. And
Where
one
would
thing
you
that
like
I
to
thought
begin?
was
I've been
humorous,
asked to
which
pay
is
visits to the
dumb,
ambassadors of
and is
Tulane and
absolutely
the
dumb and
Bridgelites
shouldn't be a
before our
plus, but I
departure.
consider it a
Their
plus
dwellings
because
are
it
not
made me
far from
laugh.
here. We could go there first.
Occasionally,
Very well.
those characters who just
You
walk
think
around
Constantine will be waiting for us
will
next
walk
with ship?
into the
I don't
middle
know.
of your
They're
conversation,
certainly
look
worthy of
around
inspection.
confused, and then walk right out. Like they didn't know what the hell was going on. And there are so many NPCs that literally just walk around, like these guys, that there was a conversation my character had in a tavern. And what happened is I got up, I went to the restroom, made myself some food, and came back. And lo and behold, enough NPCs got stuck in our conversation that there was a literal mob. So the amount of NPCs on screen you see there were gathered around me and the characters talking in a big stupid mob. And the reason I think that that's funny is because from what I knew, it was just a 3-person conversation. I go to the bathroom, I come back. There are 8, 9 people standing around looking confused because they don't know how to pathfind their way out of the trapped conversation. So there were like a bunch of flies getting stuck to like a sticky fly trap, and they were just confused. They didn't know what they were doing, they were just doing it. And they got stuck. So that's neither here nor there. That's just something fun. Nothing to do with gameplay, but it also kind of highlights these NPCs don't do anything. They are programmed to just walk around, they stop, they turn around, and they start walking again. Like, we could just take a look at these guys. If anything, this isn't a dig at the developers, it's just kind of... it's just a layer of polish that really could have made the game feel alive instead of populated by people who are just confused forever. See, she got stopped by another NPC because the NPC stopped. She doesn't know what to do, she's out. She doesn't know what to do, she's out. She went to the same place, and 3, 2... nope, she doesn't know what to do, so she's out. If you had given them some kind of small task to do, or some little route, even if it's just from point A to point B with some distractions in between, it would have been great, because this woman has gone to this same spot and walked away from it twice now. And that kind of, it kind of breaks the immersion. So if they had anything to do, like AI-wise, it'd be great. Because she went over there, that's the spot where people like to wave for no reason. And she's going to make her way back.
NPCs are the best.
Oh no, actually, she's going to keep going, and now she's standing there. The only one who's not doing anything is this guy. He's sitting here, smelling his fingers, he's confused, he looks sad, smelling his fingers again. If they're not standing around doing nothing, they're walking around aimlessly. And just a small little layer of polish could fix that right up, just add some scripts of what they should be doing. And that's kind of the thing that would make it much more, how could I put it? It would make it more alive. Like the illusion that you're in a living, breathing world can be broken by something as simple as that. And that's the tirade about that, and that's it. So, just ran into these dinks. Bopping caps. Smacking chaps. Oh, I got shot. I'm gonna get violated. So this character is squishy. So this gun boy thinks he's smart. I'm out of ammo, so hopefully killing them will be what I need to replenish it. Okay, so he's got some reinforced gloves, gold coins. Another thing is, 99% of the enemies you kill will have something to loot, whether it's just gold or other miscellaneous items that you can sell for profit or do other things. Whatever this is, torn out diary page, people talking about the disease, blah blah blah, everyone's dying by it, your mother's dying by it, she's blind from it, a whole bad situation. So your character kind of has the motivation to see if there's a cure for it, but the prologue doesn't really explore that. So what we'll do is we'll go in here and we'll talk to Salim, I don't know his first name.
I have been told that you were named Legate.
He's kind of cool until you learn that he's a dickhead.
Great responsibilities for someone as young as yourself, but you will bring honor upon your family and the congregation. Of that, I'm certain.
Whatever you say, man.
I thank you, Excellency. I've come here to inform you of our departure for Tirfredi. My cousin Constantine is about to take up office as governor of New Serene, and I'm accompanying him.
I had no idea you would be leaving so quickly. What a shame. I had thought...
Whatever, Jafar.
Well, then, that is a pity. Have a pleasant voyage. A brilliant future awaits you. They say that it is a marvelous island. Please convey to your cousin my congratulations and sincere wishes for success.
You seem slightly hesitant. Please, tell me what troubles you.
A rather unscrupulous individual has been sowing trouble in Serene. a charlatan passing himself off as an alchemist.
Do people actually give credence to these lies?
Alas, yes. They snatch up his celebrated panacea, remedies worse than the ill, believe me. As you can well imagine, alchemists are our pride. This vulgar trickster casts dirt upon their reputation and our own at the same time. In any city of the Bridge Alliance, we would have arrested him. But here, we respect your laws.
I shall see what I can do, but make no promises. My departure is imminent.
I thank you, Excellency. And I am pleased to see you have taken so well to your new functions of diplomacy. The man
Yeah, the lip
operates
syncing
in
is
the
absolutely
city
atrocious.
He is said to be
Yeah,
clever
yeah,
and be careful.
yeah, no. They're not saying any actual words.
I need to be going.
Oh, please.
Goodbye, Excellency.
Yes, you boy.
Goodbye.
Oh,
Lord
baby,
Desire.
baby. And the voice acting's nothing to write home about either. The main character is passable. He kind of reminds me of Mark Meer from Mass Effect. It's a very deadpan delivery, but that kind of made it fun. Because he was a military man after all. This guy just sounds kind of... He just sounds like he's just kind of... Controller decided to die on me. If it does that again, I'm going to switch to one of my other ones.
Citizens, I present to you Panacea, the absolute cure of everything. Toothache, stomach ailment, and even an open wound. This potion heals all of that. And more still. This little phial is the product of years of research and intensive labor. I hear you asking if this remedy can heal one from the Malachor. Alas, not yet.
The Malachor is what they
But
call the plague in this.
your question is legitimate. I am so close to finding the cure. But the Malachor isn't the only ailment causing you to suffer. Not true? Then don't miss out on this chance and give yourself a healthy and energized life. Rejoice! A phial only costs a few coins, and well worth it to make your life shiny and new again.
Does it really heal everything, your potion?
Everything. Absolutely everything. Except the Malachor, of course. That being said, it is known that those in top health resist the Malachor best of all. Then don't throw away this chance. Think of all the pains that this potion could help you avoid.
You are right. It's a deal. I'm gonna take two.
There's a man that knows a good deal when he sees one. Hurry now. There won't be enough for everyone. There he is. He's our man, no doubt.
His
You
speech
got
is
it.
well polished. I even feel like buying some.
And if we had a word with him, I wonder if he'll serve us the same routine.
So one thing I did notice that I want to highlight is the side quests in this game are good. They are, I don't want to say Witcher quality of side missions, but they are approaching that level, because every side mission has its own story that is just fully acted out by people and has multiple ways of going about them. With that, you don't always get that in RPGs. RPGs look at a side mission, you do it, the outcome will be the same. This one, you could have different outcomes for something as minor as a side mission.
Ah, you're finally tempted.
In all honesty, I haven't made up my mind yet. I want to be certain that I'm not dealing with a charlatan.
In this day and age, I can't blame you. What might I do to convince you?
So, you also get dialogue options with every single side mission.
Are there any nasty side effects with this remedy of yours?
There are none. You will feel nothing but an intense sense of well-being.
With every answer voice acted. Excuse me. Cripes.
Will you drink one of your potions to prove your good faith?
Of course. I take a little sip every morning. But as I'm in perfect health, you won't be able to verify the improvement in my condition. But if it helps you make up your mind, give me just a moment. There now. As you see, I am still in excellent condition.
Come on now, I swear you take that vial out of your pocket. Nothing proves that it's the same potion that you sell to your clients.
As a man of science, I consider skepticism a remarkable quality. But in your case, it is not skepticism, but blindness.
We need to steal one of these potions and force him to drink it.
Brilliant idea, Kurt. Let's take a look at his cart.
So what you guys saw there is they didn't even animate the guy drinking the potion, which again goes back to an extra little layer of polish. If they would have had a small baby little animation, they could even reuse the one that your character does when he drinks the potion for health.
To my help.
Oh, hello.
Death to the others.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That was unexpected. This didn't happen last time.
Things are about to get dicey.
Uh-oh. One thing I'm noticing with this character is he is very fast to the point where you can hit people before they hit you, which is very good. And Kurt, being the god tier warrior he is, just ripped them 30 new buttholes. Okay, don't use that, but I'll sell it. Get some young gloves. What's up, Kurt? Take her golds, a research book, a potion, and a piece of paper saying that he is at an inn. But yeah, if they could have done something as tiny little baby garbage as reusing the animation your character does when he drinks the potion. They didn't do that, but that at the very least would have been another layer of polish. It's one of those situations that is show don't tell, but I have a feeling the game didn't have the budget or the manpower to be able to show everything, which is a shame, but this game does have passion behind it, and it shows.
You finally made up your mind?
I happen to have a vial of your medicine. Would you be willing to drink it in front of us, to prove that there is no risk?
This bullying is trying my patience. I'm beginning to suspect that you might be working for a rival.
You refuse to taste it?
You might have put something in it to cause me harm or further disgrace.
No, look. The vial is still sealed. It comes straight from your stock.
And you dare challenge me when you have just admitted to being a thief?
Come now. You can see for yourself that I'm gladly returning your vial, so that you might drink it in front of witnesses. This might help to dissipate my doubts, as well as those of these brave folk.
Yes, no, you don't have the right.
Damnation. He got away. He
And
can't have gone
then
far.
Find him before his head ends up on a spike.
the only
Think
other
back to the note that we found.
layer of polish
We need to
issue
take a look
with
at the
this
tavern.
quest.
He won't leave the city without his belongings.
Again, show don't tell. They're telling us he ran away, you don't see it happen, he's sitting there at his kiosk, he's like, I'm upset, and then it's just gone. Which would have been easy because he's supposed to be at this inn. Alright, I got an invite from one of my friends. I'll join his party. Let's see what's up here. Let's see, he's got a bunch of friends with him. So what I'll do is I'll play this a little bit more to kind of show you guys the few people who are probably going to watch this. And then I'll join my friend, and that'll be the end of this stream. So this tavern is a pretty big hub. There's some things you go to many times, and this is one of them. So with that piece of paper, we already know that he stays at this tavern. We go in here, boom. This is where you teleported to, old man.
You again? What are you doing in my room?
I'm not the only one that has found you. Have you seen the mob that is gathering in the street?
I'm neither deaf nor blind. By the spheres. Why didn't I leave the city while there was still time?
The Alliance ambassador is quite unsettled by your commerce, and he is the one who sent me.
Sahin? Him again. Ruining my career wasn't enough for him. He's the very reason I had to leave the Alliance. And here I am, playing the part of the potion maker. Me, who was once a respected member of the Academy of Al-Sad.
Let's see, here we go.
Are you not ashamed to have poisoned those poor souls?
These potions are not harmful. That is to say that they don't contain any harmful ingredients.
But you could just as easily produce real healing potions. So why don't you?
You don't understand. I fled. But I haven't put a stop to my own research. This potion is an attempt to create in those who drink it a resistance to the Malachor.
So you manipulate people to use as experimental fodder? That is completely unethical.
I don't have a choice, but it does not harm them, I assure you.
If this potion were inoffensive, then why wouldn't you drink it when I offered it to you?
I ran tests on myself for such a long time that I ended up becoming intolerant to it. A small sip of this mixture provokes in me now a violent reaction. I mean, the mob would have been furious in any case, but a normal dose, I assure you, is without risk.
That's not how science
Why
works.
does Sahin bear you such hatred?
I wasn't fortunate enough to oppose certain great minds of the Academy, to criticize their methodology. I saw them inflicting torture on sick prisoners, making them drink the most vile poisons. To find a remedy to the Malachor, they won't hesitate to kill. I could not keep my silence.
It is for an act of courage that you fell from grace and earned Sahin's hatred. Dr. Sahin warned me that you were an imposter.
That doesn't surprise me, coming from him. I was a master alchemist. I understand if you don't believe me after all that, but I have a number of documents to prove it. I would still be one if Sahin hadn't set off a chain of machinations to disgrace me.
Your methods don't seem so different than those of your colleagues.
I don't torture people. And this potion only has side effects in high doses.
Perhaps, but you're hurting innocents. I cannot let your commerce continue.
So, what are you going to do with me, sir?
So, this character has the options. These are essentially a nice option and the I don't care option. So we're going to do the I don't care.
I'm sorry, but I don't trust you. I'm going to deliver you to Dr. Sahin.
Sir, I beg you to spare me.
I've heard enough. You're under arrest.
How unjust.
Yep, he's under arrest, but he's just going to stand there. So another thing that they talked about was... Okay, so you can I can go directly to the BAE. They talked about an angry mob. If you try to help him escape, you can essentially go about different ways of dispersing the mob. You can reimburse them for the potions by giving them new potions, or you could take other approaches to them. You are not limited to just good or bad options. You have good or bad ways of doing a good thing and good and bad ways of doing a bad thing. It gives you a lot of options.
I tracked down your man near the coin guard barracks.
Finally. Did you capture him?
Let's just say I put an end to his activities. His reputation in Serene is forever tarnished. Matters turned out a little more complicated than anticipated.
And I could deliver him.
He is hiding in a room in the Coin Guard Tavern.
Why didn't you have him arrested?
Angry citizens have gathered round the building. They have sworn to avenge themselves after discovering his fraud. I decided it better to avoid the mob. But if you wish to capture him alive, I advise you hurry.
Governor Buren will be happy to learn that a legate with great assiduity will soon be joining the island of Tir-Fredi. Thank you for your help, Excellency, and allow me to offer you this modest present for your voyage.
I need to be going. Goodbye, Excellency.
Goodbye, Lord de Sade.
So, this character is in good graces with that man's faction. My other character is not, because he decided to do the right thing and help the guy escape. And not entertain that guy, the one that I just talked to, entertain his nonsense. So, that guy still gave me the reward, but his faction doesn't like me, so it will probably be harder to negotiate with people of that faction, even with high charisma. Unless my charisma is very, very high, because that's one of the ways this game works. But, now that I have kind of proven to be an asset, talking to him will be more effective going forward. So here we go, back to doing the main quest, unless there's something else. Actually, no, I'll do that one because I'm already there. There we go. Hello, friend.
Good day, good sir. How might I be of service?
You can start by explaining to me why you refused to honor the orders agreed upon with the guard.
There's been a misunderstanding, sir. Of course we're ready to honor the orders. In fact, I've already had a word with your master-at-arms.
They're asking that we pay again, despite having already paid.
It's just that the price has gone up since. I've nothing to do with it.
This is inadmissible. If you agree on a sum, you need to honor that agreement.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm just an agent. And I'm only obeying orders.
So, now I can ask and inquire about what the hell's going on.
Your master has apparently asked you to demand a second payment for this merchandise.
That's right. He told me that their attendant seemed to be hiding something when he passed the order. And so he must have thought the guard would end up paying in the end, whatever he asked for.
I'll be damned. And I'm the one they've sent to settle the affair.
Sorry, Captain, it's nothing personal. I'm only following orders.
Following orders? Yeah, we hear you. Makes one wonder which one of the two of us is a coin guard.
So essentially most of these conversations you have to go through all the options, get all the information, and you can progress.
When we've already paid for the merchandise? If these thieves agreed to reimburse the original payment, it's what we do immediately. And do know, in the future, we won't be shopping with them. Well, I should think not.
This whole story sounds suspicious and stinks of a scandal. You're demanding a second payment but refuse to reimburse the one that was already made.
I'm not the one demanding nor refusing. It's my master.
This stubborn fool is pushing me to madness. You understand now why I'm asking for your help?
So, these are the options depending on the different skills that you chose. If I had chosen Charisma, instead of 50%, it would have been 75%, and increases it by 25%. If I had Intuition, I could offer him a bribe. But I don't have any of those. So my options are to threaten him or leave. So what we'll do, since this guy's a dickhead, we'll threaten him.
This is preposterous. Your master is a thief. I have no patience for bandits and robbers. Either you give us back what's ours, or we'll take it.
Your idea of diplomacy isn't all that different from my own.
To the devil with ya.
Since you leave us no choice.
The merchant's clerk isn't hearing your arguments. The only thing left is a show of strength. Sorry, Greenblood. If I'd have known, I wouldn't have gotten you mixed up in this.
I think it's down here. Hello, friends.
To my help! And death to the others! Move away! Things are about to get dicey!
I could just let Kurt do all the work. God. Pop. The gun is really good in this game. See, if I remember correctly, I think I could just kick his ass and the fight is over.
Stop! I beg of you.
He seems to have grown wiser all of a sudden.
Yes, yes. Don't hit me anymore.
Very well. I'm counting on you to deliver this merchandise as quickly as possible.
Yes, good sir. I'll take care of it immediately.
And boom, just like that. They're not happy with me, but I smack some cheeks. And Kurt does not like her. Doesn't like her look, I guess. Blacksmithing gloves. A bandit's hat. And some coins. And that's the way that cookie crumbles. But that's a prime example of the options that this game gives you to deal with something. You could get through it with your own intellect, your own talents, or brute force it if you're having none of that BS. This is the same kind of thing that games like the original Mass Effect gave you options with. You could straight up ignore an entire firefight so long as you had the skills to avoid it. If you were a hacker, you could hack a certain broken door and skip an ambush and things like that. It was really, really, really interesting and made you want to play different characters. That skeleton in the gutters, I didn't notice him the first time, but that goes back to my argument before. This game, the locales, everything about it, when it comes to just the art direction, it's got passion put into it. We have this dinky little boat. They could have just not had a boat there, period. That skeleton in the drain, that could have been a normal drain. No one would be any the wiser. That's the first time I've seen that damn skeleton. Someone had to take the time to put that skeleton there, put that boat there. Whatever the hell this big-ass pipe is. And all of that trash and lumber. People went in and designed this place to be this Victorian Black Death type area. And the effort that went into the environments is terrific. I can't be any more satisfied with the amount of effort and passion they put into the environments in this game. If you don't like Victorian style, Gothic style environments in games in general, you probably won't care about it. You'll say, oh, this place it looks the same, it's boring, blah blah blah. But if you pay attention to everything around you, the amount of detail that they're trying to convey in this world, it's impressive. If anything, I feel like most of their effort, most of their talents went into designing places like this. Because this place looks good. It looks like an actual place that people would be alive in. Ignoring the NPCs, they just walk around and do the same thing over and over, and you have a very, very good skeleton. Just improve the AI for the NPCs. Customization isn't important, but I love customization. Just options, 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 options. That is the big kicker. You have options for so many of these missions. What I showed you was essentially a prologue mission. That one doesn't have jack diddly squat to do with anything else. Later on, you'll have side quests that will intertwine with side quests, and essentially,
Good day, Excellency.
you would have to do one side quest
To what do I owe the pleasure?
successfully finish another side quest the
I have
way
come to
you
inform
want.
you that my cousin Constantine and I are departing for Tirfredi on the hour.
Ah, yes. I did indeed hear talk that you had both received callings of greater stature. Allow me to congratulate you. Were you not named legate of the congregation?
You are correct, Excellency. I thank you.
It is a station of great honor that I am sure you will fill with brio and panache. The Mother Cardinal Cornelia will be enchanted to work with you, and your cousin in the future. I only regret that your departure is so sudden.
Really?
To be entirely honest with you, I was hoping to solicit your help in a rather delicate matter.
Tell me more about it, and perhaps I can take care of your problem before my departure.
Very well. A small group of dangerous heretics has found refuge in Serene. We know that your uncle tolerates the presence of all pagans within the city walls. But these particular non-believers threaten the fragile harmony of this place. We would consider it a tremendous favor if you would arrest them and deliver them to our guard.
Heresy is not a crime in Serene. You do know that. But I'm sure my uncle would hear your arguments. Why call on my intervention?
The prince would indeed give us his blessing, but it would take time. Far too much time. For according to our sources, these fugitives have already made contact with a smuggler to take them who knows where.
I see. You're hoping that I'll be able to do something before they make it to an enemy city. If your heretics are planning on boarding a ship, then they must be in the dockyards. I'll look into this and see what I can do.
Okie dokie. You have the option to ask him about things, but those are just kind of lore
Farewell,
building.
Excellency.
May the light guide you, Desade.
Okie dokie. So, in a kind of long story short statement, the mission that I just accepted, just like the weapons vendor that Kurt was going at it with, you have options on how you want to deal with the heretics. You could essentially help them escape, help someone else harbor them, or you can outright arrest them, like we did with the alchemist. You have options for everything. They won't be as simple as, oh, arrest them, help them escape, blah blah blah, but those are the ones that they present with you at the start. If these heretics are good and bad is another story. That's up for you to decide. This game gives you decisions, options, and while it's not polished, not like a Dragon Age, or I get technically even like a Fallout, it still has heart there, and it is something that I would recommend to people if they do miss stuff like Fable, the original Mass Effect, back when Dragon Age wasn't just being weird, stuff like that. If that's the kind of games that you like, games that give you options on how you want to approach things, this is something that I can recommend to you, and something that I do if you manage to find it for a price that you're willing to pay. I got this game for $40. I say it's worth $40 because I spent $100 on Red Dead, so I'm kind of a bourgeoisie trash. But this game, for me, is worth $40. I'm getting tongue-tied. I would say this is definitely worth $40 if you want to support the developers. And after seeing how much passion has been put into something like this, with this almost Dishonored type world, yeah, I want to see what they do next. I want to see the end of this game and more to it, and expand on what they have. But anyways, that's the end of that. I hope you guys who watch this see what the game has to offer, see what I'm looking at it for, what I'm praising it for, and what I'm giving it some flack for. I haven't gotten through the game, and that woman's legs were invisible. That's another thing I could give it flack for. But it's not a bad game. There is passion, and when there is passion in a game, there is always a redeeming quality. The games that have no passion put into them, or were simply done to push a certain way of thinking, push a certain agenda to prove something stupid that doesn't need to be proven, those are the ones that get no love, and no love means no passion means the game is bad. We've had many of the games. Current BioWare does bad games now. Anthem is a bad game. Mass Effect Andromeda was a bad game. And Dragon Age Inquisition, while not explicitly a bad game, lacked the same polish and the same passion that the original had. It gave you options, sure, but it didn't give you the same feeling. It didn't feel like these were choices that you were making, it felt like those were choices that they gave you. It's not like seeing something and then reacting to happen, or reacting for something to happen that feels natural. It's more like, oh, we found this. Do you want to do this or this? It didn't feel so much as like a, oh, well, I want to do this. This is how we're going to do it. Games that had that are very scarce now. And with one of my favorite game series, Fable, being on ice indefinitely, I haven't seen anything that even holds the torch to it. This is kind of like a weird marriage between old school Mass Effect and Fable, with a little bit of Bloodborne thrown in there for flavoring. But all in all, this is a game that has kind of caught me off guard. This and Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, they have effort put into them. And not just effort as in, oh, we did something, give us credit. They came to the party and they brought more than they said they would. You expect very, very little out of them, but they brought so much more. They brought new things to the table, or things back to the table that should be there as a standard, that were just phased out because companies want money and they can't be bothered to make games quality anymore. This game is as quality as the studio could make it. It's a good, solid RPG experience. And if that's what you want, I'd say grab it. Grab it while you can, because at the GameStop where I worked, I got the last copy. We ended up having 2 at a time. And I got the last one, so if they manage to make more of this game, hop on it. They don't have that option. You want to get it digital. If you're going to buy a game digital, you get it on sale, because digital is a scam. But that's going to be the end of that. I probably will be streaming tomorrow, doing an actual streams, not just a gameplay and commentary type stream. But I will probably stream. Anyways, that's going to be the end of that. For those of you who sat through my talking about a game that I was playing, I hope you guys have a nice day, night, morning, what have you. And expand your gaming horizons, and there's no way you can be disappointed when you come across a diamond in the rough like this. You guys have a good one.